Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Achieving Alpha. And in this particular video, we are going to talk about how you can better understand the market dynamics by doing a correlation study of different asset classes. So, how does one asset class react to another? We'll see that, and we'll do all of this with historical data analysis using Python. So as you all might be aware, if you are an old follower, that I prefer to talk with data and facts rather than just talking in here. So I prefer that, and let's go and study about that. So just a brief introduction to some basic statistics for those of you who don't know. So we'll start by what is correlation. So first of all, you need to understand something known to us as variance. So variance in very simple language or in layman's term is how much you vary from the mean. So basically if you have a sample of numbers and the mean is here denoted by x bar. So basically the variance of that particular sample, or basically in statistical terms the uh, variance of that particular random variable is given by this particular formula, where xi is the ith number in your sample, x bar is the sample mean, and then n is the number of values, or basically the number of observations in your particular sample. Now usually there are two things, one is the sample and one is the population. So basically for the sample we divide by n minus 1, and by population we, and for population basically we divide by n. So that is something which is not of your concern, and they shouldn't really concern you. I was just telling it so that the interested people are knowing about it. And why do we do this? This is something known to us as Bessel's correction. So this is again for those of you who want to go deep into the statistics. So you can Google about Bessel's correction. Now, if you have one variable, you try to study its variance. Basically, if you have two variables and you want to know that how much one changes with respect to another, you use something known as covariance. So here you are comparing it, the variable, with the mean of itself, but here you are basically using this formula if you have two random variables which are x and y. This is the covariance. Now one of the issues with covariance is that it is not scaled, or basically it is not standardized. The value of covariance can be anything. So how do I tell that basically two values are much more correlated or less correlated or not at all correlated? So for that we introduced covariance. See, I am not trying to confuse you with all this formulae, and it may look scary to a lot of you, but the whole intention is to just keep you uh, in touch with what I am trying to explain. So basically we standardize covariance and we scale it, so that becomes correlation. Now this is the particular formula for correlation. Again, you don't need to be aware of that. All you need to understand is that correlation is ranging, is a number basically which is ranging from -1 to +1. -1 means that the two random variables are highly anti-correlated, and +1 means that the two variables are highly positively correlated. So basically you can see these three figures here. So positive correlation will tell you that if one variable increases and another one increases with that, so that is a positive correlation. If there is no relation at all, then this correlation coefficient is 0. And if there is a negative correlation, that is one quantity decreases when other one increases, that is a negative correlation. And this number will basically tell you that how strong the positive or the negative correlation is. So I hope you are clear about correlation. If not, there are a lot of videos and a lot of content on statistics for those of you who are interested. But in a nutshell, you should understand this about correlation, what I explained. So let's do the usual stuff. Let's try to pull out some data. So here basically we are going to analyze these things. The 10-year bond yield for US, the Dow Jones Index, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, the DAX, which is the index of Germany. We are going to analyze FTSE, which is the index of London, CAC, which is the index of France, Nifty and Bank Nifty you all might be knowing about. Nikkei is the index of Japan, Hang Seng is the index of Hong Kong, Kospi is for South Korea, crude oil you all know, and gold you all know. So we'll be analyzing the correlation between these things. So basically here I will run the cell to show you that I'm downloading the data. So we are done with downloading the data. Now I also tried to include USD INR, the daily data for USD INR. Although daily data won't make sense. Why? I will show it to you shortly. But let's just try to study that. And basically there was some problem fetching data with this Yahoo Finance API. So I basically tried to download it and then read it manually. Don't worry, you don't have to understand the code. I'm just doing it so that I can show you the analysis further. So again, now we have everything in one single table, or basically data frame in technical terms. So this is all the data that we have on a daily closing basis. Now what do we do next is we try to calculate the correlation between each of these quantities. So we'll see that the diagonal values in this particular table is always 1, because it is obvious that the correlation of a variable with itself is always going to be 1. So basically you will see the correlation. So basically what does each value in this particular table tell? So this 0.72 tells me the correlation between the 10-year bond yield and the crude oil. Basically this minus 0.4 tells me the correlation between Dow and the bond yield. So let's try to interpret and take some examples out of this particular table so that you better understand what does correlation mean. So there is a general understanding, or basically you might have heard it also, that the bond yields and the equity markets are inversely correlated. Let's have a look at the example. So this is the US 10-year bond yield, and these are the US indices, which is the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. Now you can clearly see a negative correlation, and you must have seen this in the past days, right? That when the bond yield was increasing, the equity markets were coming down. And if you pay close attention, then the most negatively correlated here is Nasdaq. And you must have observed in the last few days that Nasdaq was the one which fell the most when the bond yields were surging high. So basically, I urge you to find out the data points and try to study what the data tells you, because market always respects data points. So you should just try to study and know the reason behind everything. Everyone tells you that the bond yields are rising and the markets are falling, but try to verify that. Try to have some curiosity. It will take you very ahead in the long run. So that is one example. Other example is that you might have heard that the USA and the global markets are very much correlated. So let's try to have a look at that. So you have Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. Now, basically, let's try to see what sort of correlation these have with the other markets. So you can see that DAX is very strongly correlated with these three. So you have zero point 0.6 correlation with Dow, roughly about 0.61 with again S&P, and with Nasdaq you have a 0.54 correlation. Whereas interestingly, if you have a look at FTSE, so FTSE, which is the index of UK or London, is negatively correlated with the US indices, and that is something which is interesting, right? Now, if you have a look at Nifty and Bank Nifty, so this is where you will see that a lot of people say that the Indian markets follow the US markets. And you can see that Nifty has a correlation of 0.92 with the Dow Jones. And it again has a very high correlation with Nasdaq and S&P 500 as well. And same goes for Bank Nifty. And another example, that Nifty and Bank Nifty are quite closely related. So you will see that Nifty has a correlation of zero point 0.8 with Bank Nifty. So you can again go through some of these values and basically try to understand how do things correlate in between. So this will give you a really good idea of how things move together. But one important point which I want to tell you is that correlation does not imply causation. So you should not try to bring out inferences based on this particular correlation value, because it does not imply causation. One very weird example which comes to my mind at the moment is that, let's say you like pickle and let's say you like ice cream. So there is a high correlation between the two, but that will not mean that you like pickle ice cream. Okay, the example was a little weird, but I think you got the point. So you can Google for more examples and to understand more. This is a very famous statement in statistics that correlation does not imply causation. So I hope you get a good idea about these things. And this is basically, this could be hard to read. So there is another kind of graph which is known to us as heat map. So I have plotted up the heat map for you guys. So you can have a good look at this and try to study it in your free time. Just pause the screen here, take a screenshot of this particular heat map and try to infer the values. This heat map, basically, the closer we are to white, the more anti-correlated or negatively correlated the two values are, and the closer we are to dark green, the more correlated these values are. So you can have a look at this, take a good note, and try to understand how different things work in global markets with respect to each other. So this was one thing. One very important point I want to bring out here is that you keep hearing me say that USD INR and Bank Nifty are negatively correlated. Now here if you see USD INR and if you have a look at the correlation with Bank Nifty, you will see a positive correlation of 0.14. So what's wrong here? So basically, there is nothing wrong here, but you will see that the forex pairs or basically the currency moves very slowly. So if you are doing the correlation analysis on a daily basis with a volatile index like Bank Nifty, that is not correct. So what you should do, you should try to analyze the correlation on a shorter time frame, let's say 5 minutes, and that's what we are doing here. You will see that the interval that I am setting is 5 minutes for both USD INR and Bank Nifty, and we are looking at the last 1 month of data. So let's do this. And now if I analyze the correlation, you will see a minus 0.48 correlation of USD INR with Bank Nifty. This adjusted closes is basically the adjusted closing price of Bank Nifty on a 5 minute chart. So you will see that if you look it on a shorter time frame, so USD INR and Bank Nifty are pretty much correlated. And you must have observed this in the market since the last two trading sessions when USD INR was shooting up and Bank Nifty was coming down. So yes, if I say something, I say it with proof and with data points. And I hope that this particular video gave you a very good insight. Now it is not possible for me to go through the correlation between each of these things, but that's why I leave it as a homework for you. Just try to do this, show some curiosity and do your homework to understand things in a much better way. I hope you like this particular video. Writing all of this code and doing all of this analysis does take up a lot of my time. So I would really appreciate that if you found this video useful, please drop a like below. And if you're new here and coming here for the first time and want to listen about trading, investment, and more such insightful and interesting videos, subscribe to this channel for more such content. So thank you so much for watching and sticking till the end. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care, keep learning. Bye bye.